competition day at Gurston and Mark Walker snakes off the line in his Formula 3 quest. The Hitchings partnership have already run the combine over Gurston's top field, but Mark's just doing his bit to finish the job off. That's got to be some sort of a record for farthest into the field at Carousel, but in today's drizzle, the track is set to remain treacherous all day. Even Iron Price has problems at Carousel, and that's blown his chances of making the cut for the opening runoff of the day. Before we check out the top runners in the morning shootout, and as our hard-working marshals wield their brooms for the umpteenth time today, let's join James in the paddock.
Simon Marsh, a new toy for you to play with this weekend. What are your first impressions of it?
Well, this is the official ADR works car. I've just ordered one of these, but with a bike engine in it. I took a decision that I wanted a two-seater and I wanted a sports car and a strong one, not just a Hillclimb car. I wanted something to do sprints as well. I wanted to have a go at that, and the odd track day, I wanted to be able to take people for a ride every now and then, have a bit of a laugh with it and get a bit more drive time. So I went to ADR and promised me a very good car, I think, and unfortunately it wasn't quite ready. The whole shot engines were waiting for a batch of crankshafts to come over from America, so ADR honoured my entry at this meeting and gave me their works car to have a go in. I mean, it's a pure circuit car, and this is one of their class leading cars in the open sports car series that they run in.
Absolutely. Well, they're very successful in that series, aren't they? And I guess that must be what's pointed you towards this car. You said you wanted a strong car. It goes through all the circuit crash processes that it has to go through, so it must be pretty solid bit of kit.
That's right. They've got all the FIA papers for the about 7 tons or something amazing on these corners, and about 4 tons on the side or something, and there's a crash box, FIA certified crash box on the front, which gives you a bit more peace of mind. And you know, they've recently revised the chassis and raised the roll hoop slightly, so you sit lower effectively in the car and there's a bit more around you. This circuit car, it's never been on a hill climb before. They've supplied me with some hill climb tyres and a softer set of pads.
Okay, that helps.
So away you go, going to have a go in it. I've given it back to them in one piece and had a great weekend.
Absolutely. Well, it certainly looks great up there. I mean, you're used to driving the Gould on the hills. It must feel really quite different compared to the power and the agility you've got in the Gould. Yeah,
it's a big car. There's a lot of width to it. When you look at it, but actually it's no wider than the Gould is overall, and I think my fortune of being able to drive the Gould has meant that I've had some experience of a very quick car, and it means potentially I might be able to bring these on, you know, and sort of be able to push them a bit harder, and ADR are very keen to work with me to develop my car with a bike engine, and there is a potential of developing any sort of engine in the back, V6 or a V8 or anything. So that's where I'm hoping to go with it. But again, not purely as a hill climb car, it's just a multi-discipline car, and just going to have a bit of fun with it.
Bit of fun, absolutely. Yeah. Good stuff. Well, it certainly looks like it's fun, and I bet you're going to have a ball next year with it. Best of luck for that.
Thank you very much.
Okay, back to you, Jerry.
Thanks, James. Well, Simon's normal mount is the V6 Gould single-seater that was run by his late father, Tony Marsh, and which his brother Peter is driving here at Gurston today. But now the crew push this very different ADR work sports car through the paddock and up to the start line for the class runs. So let's ask Simon himself to guide us through his run in these miserably wet conditions.
Well, the marshal's called me forward. I'm just going to spin the wheels, see if there's any grip at all. It's the first time I'm running wets on this car, and first time running in a properly wet track. So moving to the right hand side of the start line, which seems to be where everybody's preferred to go this morning, waiting for the green light. Visor's already down, I'm ready to go. Here we go. Just check the instruments. I'm not going to look for 5,500 revs this time, I'm just going to try and feel it off the line. Here we go. Tramping quite a lot. And we clear of the tree and clear of the rubber, and it got some grip again now, so up into second, catch third, and just take it really a little bit cautiously into hollow here, because I've been understeering somewhat through here. I'm just feeling it gently through, gently onto the brakes a little bit early, drop it into second, turned in nicely. It seems to be a bit more grip now. Lots of understeer here, little squirm up over Deer's Rise, carefully into Ashes, don't want to understeer out of there. And then plant the throttle and hope, yeah, we got some grip, and it's accelerating nicely up into third. Hold it gently over the line, wait to back off, and now we start to slow down.
Now we're into the first of our two British runoffs, and Will Hall has qualified second fastest with a superb new class record. That'll be the only record of the day though, and as conditions deteriorate he's well over 2 seconds off that pace in the all-important runoff, but this run will still leave him 6th at the end. Guernseyman Chris Gill took his first ever British win at Le Val de Terre last month, and he's flying today in the Vauxhall powered OMS. He shades out Hall for 5th place by just 1600ths of a second. Airline pilot James Blackmore made the British runoff cut for the second time this year in his OMS Hayabusa. Previously the man to beat at Harewood in Yorkshire, since moving down south he's adopted Gurston as his home hill, and he's on track for his best ever runoff result as he edges out Gill to take 4th place in the 1600cc car. But things didn't go quite so well for James in afternoon qualifying, and he failed to make the cut. Having only just registered for the championship, Peter Marsh, driving his late father's Gould V6, was delighted to qualify the car at his very first attempt. So this is his first ever shot for British points, and he hurls the car down into hollow. Driving the Gould alongside his brother Simon, they finished 1st and 2nd overall in back-to-back club meetings at Gurston in June. His dad would have been proud, and even more so today as Peter's on his way to a superb 3rd place in his first ever British runoff. Unfortunately he couldn't repeat his form in the afternoon. Later in the day, James found out why.
Peter Marsh, we've just seen your onboard footage from yesterday. Nice and dry yesterday, a little bit different today though.
Yes, it's somewhat different today, a bit wet and miserable.
A bit more challenging for you, but you managed to get into that first runoff there, first time you qualified I believe.
Yes, it's a bit of a new experience for me because not entered into the championship before, and first time in the runoff.
Yeah, good stuff, and yeah, good result there for you. This afternoon wasn't quite so successful though.
No, from 3rd to a complete failure. Traction control didn't do me any favours off the line, and unfortunately the engine stalled, rear wheels over the line, and that was the end of it.
That is one of the unfortunate rules of hill climbing, isn't it? You don't get a second go when you've crossed that line. So.
But rules are rules, and
absolutely. Well, you've certainly got that runoff experience. It's something to build on for next year, so best of luck for that.
Pleased.
Okay.
Thank you.
Back to you, Jerry.
Roger Moran's on his way to a 29.43 in the opening runoff, but quick though that is in the conditions, it's not quite quick enough. Even faster is a man who's had to wait 7 long years since his last British runoff victory. After a pretty disappointing season so far, Rob Turnbull, who's been a regular in top-level hill climbing for the last 35 years, finally came good to take his first British Championship win since 2002 in the 650 horsepower Gould Cosworth HB. It was a great result for the most experienced man in the sport today. Here's Scott Moran in the final runoff of the day. Where was he in the opening runoff? Well, due to a miscalculation, he'd been led to believe that Trevor Willis's spin in the opening qualifying runs had handed him the 2009 championship title on a plate. He toured up and failed to qualify. In fact, the title wasn't yet his, but such was his championship lead that a top 6 finish in the second runoff would be more than enough to finish the job in the afternoon. 6th place it was, and for the second year running, a delighted Scott Moran would leave Gurston with the British Hill Climb Championship in the bag. Well, Rob Turnbull may have won the opening runoff, but John Bradburn, in his virtually identical Gould Cosworth, really found his feet in the afternoon. After qualifying in 4th place in the worst of the day's conditions, he found even more speed when it counted for points as he outran Scott Moran. Even 5th place though couldn't prevent a slide down the championship table at the hands of the smaller cars, which were revelling in Gurston's damp conditions. Will Hall for one was having a field day. 6th in the opening runoff, he stormed the hill for a splendid 4th place in the afternoon shootout to leapfrog season-long rival Einan Price for 9th place on the championship table, and Chris Gill too matched his morning form to post his 4th points haul of the season. A fine 3rd place runoff finish moved him up to 12th on the table. So the penultimate runner, Roger Moran, waits on the line. He wipes his visor, throws away the cloth and settles down in the cockpit. He's already set fastest time of the day, Scott's title is secure, and that 4th win of the year is in his sights. He's away down the wet strip of tarmac. The Gould skates through Hollow Bend speed trap at 118 miles an hour, quicker than anyone else in the runoff. Finally judge braking on the wet track, and he's up into Carousel. The Gould's traction control is really paying off here as Roger powers over Deersley but into Ashes. He's rarely been out of the top 3 since he won his own British title 12 years ago. Now he's chasing Trevor Willis for a championship 2nd place. It's 33.68, the lead so far, but will it be enough? After failing to make the cut for the opening runoff, Trevor Willis qualified top in the afternoon and will be fiercely determined to get that 3rd win of the year. If anyone can beat Roger Moran today, it'll be him, and indeed he takes the win by over a second. It's another superb performance for Willis, and it comes on the day that Scott Moran secures his 2nd successive British Hillclimb title.
Scott Moran, 2009 British Hillclimb champion. You finally made it.
Oh, at last, yeah. 2nd time today. Can't be bad.
Yeah, absolutely. A bit of a mix-up this morning. Saw you not qualifying. That's got to be pretty frustrating.
Yeah, it was a bit annoying. They announced that I'd finally clinched it this morning, which is not the case, unfortunately. So I just sort of cruised up in the wet and obviously didn't qualify. And told at the top, no, you're not champion yet. Wait till this afternoon.
That took the wind out of your sails, but
Did a little bit,
it's been a tough year. It's been tricky for you with competitors coming and going during the year.
Yeah.
You've got to be pleased with the outcome, though.
Oh yeah. You've got first to win, you've got to finish, haven't you? So it's been I've got to thank Dad and Deb, Mum, and Dave who helps us, Roger from Formula One Fuels. It's all been fantastic backup, and the car's done the job, and I've just had to sit there and pedal it.
Absolutely. What's the plan next then? Back next year for more?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, I've got to try and make 3 in a row if I can, but we'll have to see what the competition does.
Absolutely. Well, we'll certainly be here watching you.
Yep.
Best of luck for next year.
James, cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So Scott Moran takes his 2nd title in a row. It's been a bit of a mixed year for British hill climbing, with several top contenders suffering mechanical problems towards the end. But all credit to the new champion, his team and their superbly prepared car, driven by a man whose form has remained at top level all year. Here's to the 2010 season.